Hi, good afternoon. This is Denise Gustavson, editor for Wide Format Imaging and MyPrintResource.com. This afternoon I have Rich Gottwald here, the Executive Vice President for ISA. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thanks. Now, first question today is, there's a lot going on, so what are the key issues that you see affecting sign shops today?
One of the areas that we spend a lot of our time at ISA and that we see affecting the sign shops is regulation at the local level. Sign codes, can't put up a sign without a reasonable sign code. So we constantly are out there working with municipalities and trying to change sign codes so they're more amenable to the effective use of signs. I think other regulation as well, regulation coming from the federal government. I think most people know that there's a new rule that takes place next year that was handed down by OSHA for crane operator training. There's estimates of somewhere around 10,000 crane operators in the sign industry. They need to be trained and certified by 2014. That's going to take a lot of time and a lot of expense for sign companies to be able to do that. Other regulations also coming at the state level. We've seen some regulations with respect to mercury, which affect the use of neon products. We've seen air quality regulations. So I'd say as a whole, regulations in general are really impacting how sign companies operate today. Second to that, I would say finding qualified employers.
Okay.
I read a quote just the other day from the Manufacturing Institute in Washington, D.C., where they're reporting that 80% of manufacturers are reporting that they can't find qualified workers to fill jobs. So finding and training qualified workers for the sign manufacturers is going to be a challenge as well.
Great. Those are two very, very important issues that are facing
Right,
a lot of sign shops now. But I guess looking a little bit on the opportunity side, looking where the shops can, really get ahead and get more growth. What do you see are the biggest, growth areas or opportunities for sign shops now?
A couple of things. There's no doubt there's a lot of opportunity, and I think those that want to find business, I think they can go out and find it. One of the areas that we're seeing potential and starting growth is what we're calling dynamic digital signage. And some companies look at it as potentially as a threat. We actually see it as an opportunity, as another type of sign product for a sign shop to add to their portfolio. And we're working with several other groups out there. Our goal is to, first of all, to make ISA the resource for companies that want to get into digital dynamic signage, and then to make those companies that get involved with it, to make them experts so they can be profitable at it. There's no doubt that digital dynamic signage, and when I say that, what I mean is as you walk into a store or into a mall, you'll see video screens which are advertising products or advertising the business. That's what we call dynamic digital signage. And there's big potential for this industry to move into that industry as well.
Yeah, definitely. I know I've seen the growth in that market especially, but it takes a lot also for the sign shop to really understand what's involved, the technical challenges and the IT, and there's a lot more involved than just plugging in those displays and going.
Absolutely. We've designed some education we'll be rolling out more over the coming months in which we try to demystify it, because when you look at it and you look at the different components, there's installation, hardware, there's the software, the component, there is the maintenance component. If you look at each of those individually, they're not that complex. And sign companies can start by choosing which segment they think they can do best in. And they may have those resources. And for the areas where they don't have the resources, they can find partners. So we're working to educate the sign industry, to demystify it, because I think it is viewed as somewhat complex.
Yeah.
And I don't believe that it is that complex. And I'm confident that our industry, when you look around the technologies of this show, that this technology is something else they can add to their portfolio of offerings.
Now, on the technology subject, we're here at ISA 2012, and there's tons and tons of products here. What do you think would be the next great opportunity or the next technological advancement that's really going to move the industry forward? What do you think that could be? Is it here? Is it somewhere else? Is it digital signage? Is it something else?
I think it's digital signage. I do think it's digital dynamic signage. I think that has implications for this industry that have yet to be realized by most people. And they're positive implications. I don't mean that as a negative. It's not going to be a threat. Certainly some of the products that are in the industry today will be displaced by dynamic digital signage, but that'll be a growth area. Recent estimates show that industry, that market is growing 20% annual growth rate, and it's forecasted for that over the next 5 years. Very significant.
Okay, and again, on the subject of technology, our last question is, where do you see the sign and graphics industry in the next 5 years?
I see the industry as continuing to grow and to continue to be more successful. I see our industry becoming more, for lack of a better word, professional, more educationally focused, because to compete with some of these newer technologies, they're going to need education to do it. And I think as we as the association and other associations help to educate our members in the industry, we're going to see a more cohesive and I think a more successful industry.
All right, Rich, thanks so much. I really appreciate you joining us today.
Great, thanks for having me.